Hello, today I have a Spyderco Matriarch and then a replica, which is really close to the real thing, but I wanted to show you the difference between the two. If you can tell the difference right away, uh, put down in the comments which one you think is real and which one you think is fake. But I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. It threw me for a loop at first. But there's a few things that are different between the two that are easy to pick up on right away. So the first thing you'll notice is one says Endura 4 and one says Matriarch 2. Now, I got a lot of heat for this, on the forums, because when I posted this saying I got a fake, they're like, "Oh no, you can put Endura scales on a Matriarch. It's the same platform, it's the same scales," and that's true, but they shouldn't come with them new. And I didn't buy it as like a used thing. I bought it from a seller as a new item, so there's no reason Spyderco would send out a Matriarch 2 with Endura scales when they make Matriarch 2 scales. So that was my first clue that something was off, because yeah, if you get one used, there's a chance that the person that had it before you swapped the scales out. But if you get one brand new from a seller and it doesn't have Matriarch scales on it, then something's wrong. Now if it comes and it has Matriarch 2 scales on it, it's probably genuine, because obviously if they're using Endura scales, they probably don't have any Matriarch scales. They just don't have the mold for it. They just also clone Enduras and use those scales. I apologize for the shaky camera. I'm just recording this on my phone. I don't have a tripod or anything, so if it shakes around a little bit, just bear with me. Another thing you'll notice is the color of the spider, that little engraving there. And this is a common thing between all Spyderco clones, is the color is usually off on the clones. Normally it's a little bit darker, like almost a brownish color to it, where the clones usually have one that's really light. I mean, I know this one's a dark finish, but even on the ones that are just a regular shiny finish like that, usually they're quite a bit lighter. The next thing you'll notice is the size of the spider hole. It's quite a bit bigger on the fake. You can see how thin this piece of metal is here, and between there and where the blade starts, I mean, there's almost no space. Where on the real one, there's quite a bit of space on there, and there's a decent amount of space between the hole and where that bevel starts for the blade. Like on this one, the hole goes pretty much all the way to the bevel. As far as the scales go, they are real FRN even on fakes. I did a little cut test, and you can feel the fiberglass cutting, and it seems to be about the same percentage as the real scales. Spyderco uses 70% glass FRN, and this, I would say, is probably about on par. Another thing you'll notice is the hardware is slightly different between the two. I mean, other than the color, because obviously the one that's black is gonna have black hardware, but just the shape of the screws is different. It just doesn't look quite the same. It looks a little bit different. Now, another thing too is the clip. The clips, as far as the geometry goes, they look pretty much the same, but the finish is different. So on the real Spyderco, it's just a matte black, where on this one it's a little bit more glossy, and also it has like an orange peel texture to it that I don't know if is coming up on camera that well, but I'm trying to get it. The genuine Spyderco doesn't have that orange peel texture to it at all. You'll notice on this one too, on the fake, it lists the patent number. That doesn't really mean anything. They stopped listing that, I believe, once the patent expired. On Spyderco's website, it shows the Matriarch 2, just a regular silver one without a patent number on it. But the black one still shows a patent number, so I don't know if it's just not updated or what, but not having a patent number, it doesn't matter if it does have one, or it doesn't matter if it doesn't have one. That just means they were made at different times. It has nothing to do with authenticity. You'll also notice that the shape of the wave is a little bit different on each one, and you can really tell how much smaller that hole is. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that you could pretty much fit the hole. Yeah, you can pretty much fit this hole around the other one. All right, let's open them up. there's a couple things here. So you'll notice on the fake one the blade hooks down quite a bit more. It's got more of a hawk bill to it. This one's a little bit more straight. The real one also comes a lot with a much better edge on it. Both of them are pretty sharp. This one didn't come dull by any means, but the one from Spyderco is razor sharp, where this one is just it's okay, which is fine. Another thing you'll notice is that the backspacer and the blade are significantly different sizes. So you can see a huge gap between the handles and the blade, and this lends to a lot of flex in this direction. The lockup all around is actually pretty good, but I almost cut myself down there pressing on that. But you see I pressed on that and it still didn't cut me, so it's not that sharp. Yeah, there's a lot more flex in the blade, left and right, where when you look at the Spyderco, the scales pretty much come all the way to the blade, because the blade and the backspacer are almost the same size. The blade's ever so slightly smaller, I think, it looks like to me. I don't have my calipers on me, but you can see that there's quite a bit of a difference. The die that the handles are made on, or made in for the Spyderco, they just feel more fresh. Like the die, or not the die, but the mold isn't as worn out as the one on the clone. The handles feel a lot more grippy, and the jimping up here is a lot more aggressive. Where on this one, the jimping is kind of smoothed out, and it doesn't feel as grippy, probably because the mold has just been used over and over and over again, and hasn't been replaced or refreshed. So yeah, those are the major differences there. Everything else is pretty similar, but you can see how this could easily fool someone, because I mean, look how close they look. Alright, so the next thing we're going to look at is the boxes, and this is the part that was the most obvious to me and really stood out. That's quite the difference. First of all, it's harder to tell in this light, and maybe it'll show up more as I rotate the boxes around, but the fake box, first of all, I don't know if their printer was running out of ink or what, but there's no silver stripe. Or it's very faint and only below the Spyder. Where on the real one, obviously the stripe's there. Also, if you look at the registered mark on the fake box, it's further away from the Spyder, and on the real one it's closer to the Spyder. That could have something to do with the Spyder actually being smaller slightly on the fake box. On the fake box as well, you'll notice that the Spyderco logo is further up towards the top, where on the fake one the logo is further up towards the top, where on the real one the logo is down a little bit. There's another registered logo, or trademark, or not trademark, it's just one of those little registered icons down at the bottom here on the real one. The fake one doesn't have one there, but that could be because they were running out of ink. If you turn it on its side, the one that's fake, it's like they tried to use a US box, like they only have one box for the Japanese and USA made knives, so they use it for both. It just says Golden, Colorado, USA, and the real one says made in Japan. If you look at the back, most of this is all the same, but the fake one has a listing here at the bottom saying packaging made with 90 or 66% recycled material. Maybe that's something that they used to do, and the clone box kept that around, and when they stopped doing that, they took it off the real box, but the cloners didn't care enough to take it off. And on the last side, same deal as the other side, the real one says made in Japan. And there's the big differences between the boxes. But there's more. Alright, so next we have the, oops, sorry, Cat wants to join. We have the literature, the little pamphlets that come with it. Oh, and the sticker. We'll get to that next. So on the real one, you got two pamphlets. You got one for the Matriarch 2 that tells you about the knife, all that good stuff. And you also get a guide on how to use the Emerson wave opener. So you get two things, which is, it makes sense, it's pretty normal. On the fake one, you get one pamphlet, and it's for the pair of three. So it's like they only printed a couple different pamphlets, or too, and they just use that for all the knives. And also you can tell the printing's not right. Like it feels different, like it's a different paper than the real one. And it just doesn't look the same. But that's something you can only tell if you have another one to compare it to. But if you don't, and you get the wrong pamphlet with your knife and it's bought as new, that's a red flag. If you get it used, who knows, they could have thrown it in an old box, and it could be legit, but it's just not the right box for the knife. So it's harder to tell when you buy one used. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is the stickers. Now the stickers, the one that came with the clone, this is a real like design that they use. It's the same one that comes with their US knives. I just got a Yojumbo that has a similar sticker, but it isn't actually the one Spyderco uses. You can see these little micro bubbles underneath the plastic, where the genuine Spyderco stickers don't have that, even though that this isn't the same pattern as comes with like the US made ones. It's still the same material. I'm sure they're made at the same place, but that's really the only difference, or the only difference I could discern, other than the text at the bottom here. If you have a real one to compare it to, you'll notice the text is a little bit bigger, and especially in that comma, the comma is way more, it pops more on the real one. But I mean, there's not much you can really tell by just the stickers. But also, a lot of people were surprised that a fake came with a sticker, so keep an eye out for that. Just because it comes with the sticker doesn't mean it's real. All right. What else? I'm pretty sure that was it. The only other little thing I could say is that the fake one came in almost like the pouch that the knife was in was just like a little thin plastic, like cellophane type bag, where the real one, it was like a bubble wrap bag that it came in. So that was really the only difference, but they're really, really close. The real one feels a lot more sturdy. It doesn't budge. It's got a really good lockup. It feels just more sturdy. Where this one, since it's not as supported, I'm guessing, it just feels more flimsy. It didn't come as sharp. I'm sure it's not real BG10 blade steel, all that good stuff, but it's really, really close. It's really convincing. But yeah, we'll get another look at the blades side by side. You can see the other one hawk bills down a little bit further. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. If you're afraid you got a clone, there's some things to look for. The thing I could say is, I mean, unless they've updated it between now and the time you're watching this video, the Matriarch scales will say Matriarch, so if it says Matriarch, it's probably real. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you didn't get a fake. Hopefully yours is genuine, and have a great day.